What's going on, guys? First grade, Mr. Hunter here with your lesson for today. You should have your Community Helpers book, all right? Community Helpers, and we're going to be starting on page 29. Last week, we were talking about doctors, and today we're going to talk about somebody who helps a doctor's job makes it a little bit easier. This person works in a hospital with a doctor. They're not a doctor, but they do a lot of things to help doctors out. They are called, anybody guess? Nurses help doctors out. So if you want to, you can look at your map in the front of the book, and look at the pictures, all right? Look where the doctor's office is or the hospital. And I want you to think if you can see where those buildings are. Now, if you lived in one of the neighborhoods with the house, put your finger on one of the neighborhoods with the houses. Take your finger. Which direction would you have to go to get to a hospital or to the doctor's office? Which direction? From the houses, most of the places that you would have to go are west. You would have to go west to get to the hospital, okay? How many of you have ever thought about being a doctor? How many of you are like, oh, I don't want to be a doctor, it's too much school, but maybe I have to be a nurse? And guess what? There can be women nurses, there can be men nurses. So yes, Sam, Jeremiah, and Dylan, if you wanted to be a nurse, you could be one too, okay? Now, we're going to talk about that today. I want you guys to get ready to read. Let's jump on to page 29, all right? Now, if you were thinking, oh, I'll be a nurse because they don't have to go to school as long, it's not as much work. Let's look right here. A nurse is somebody that works in the hospital and they make a doctor's job easier, right? But a nurse has to attend college to learn to take care of people. Not as many years as a doctor, but they assist doctors and they heal sick and injured people. So a nurse, even though they don't have to go to school a long time like doctors, they still have to go to school and they have to do a good amount of work. Now, a nurse, what do? Well, before a doctor comes in, if you go to a doctor's office for an appointment, the nurse takes your temperature. That's one. They take your temperature. Then they determine your blood pressure and your heart rate. So you ever had that thing that they put around your arm and they tie it up real tight and they go, sss, 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 and then it like lets the air out little bit by little bit. Sss. That's how they tell your blood pressure. That's how they see if your blood pressure is really high or if it's really low, or it's right in the middle, right where it's supposed to be. And then they measure your height and your weight. Wow, do you know how much you weigh? Do you know how tall you are? Maybe that's something you can think about and make sure you know for the next time we talk. That's something just to ask your parents and keep track of and see how much you're growing and how tall you're getting over the next few months and years. Because guess what, guys? You guys have a lot of growing to do. So it's going to be pretty cool to see how tall you get. All right, ask questions. That's what a nurse does. They ask questions to help find out what is wrong. So when you go to a doctor, sometimes you're sick. So the nurse will say, what are you feeling like? What's wrong? Does your head hurt? Does this hurt? If you hurt something on your body, they'll maybe touch it to see if it's really hurt or how sore it is, because they're trying to find out information about you so they can tell the doctor. Then the doctor can get to the medicine really quickly. He can figure it out really fast. All right? What else do? They write down the important information. If you're telling a doctor or you're telling a nurse all this information, how tall you are, how much you weigh, what's going on, what you're feeling like, that's a lot of information that they'd have to remember up here. So their job is to take the notes down, write them, and then, or now guys, they have computers. So they type it in the computer really fast, do all that, and then the doctor can just look it up online. That way it doesn't get lost and it's kept in the system. Now, the doctor gives orders and the nurse is the one that actually follows those orders and follows the instruction. And then guess what? A nurse, their job is to make sure that you don't have any fears. So they soothe your fears. They rub your fears away. They say, hey, it's going to be okay. You guys ever had that? Your nurse, even though I'm an adult and I'm older than you guys, when I go to the doctor, the nurse is still really nice to me. They still say a lot of kind words and make me feel comfortable about even being there. Now, what are places that nurses work? Nurses work in schools. They work in hospitals. They work in doctor's office. And guess what? There's also missionary doctors. Missionary doctors are doctors who travel all over the world and they go to places who don't have as much as we do in America. They go and they help places out that need more. They don't have enough money to pay. So the doctors will go to other countries and they'll tell them about the Bible, God's love, and they'll also help to get the medicine for anything that they're sick with. And nurses help them out as well. All right. So let's read this poem right here at the top. Or not poem, but this wording. It said, nurses care for sick people. We talked about that. They want to help them get well. And some nurses take care of people who are in the hospital. They try to help the sick people feel better. But some nurses work during the day and some work during the night. Some doctors and nurses are missionaries in other countries. And a nurse helps the doctor and writes down important information. So guys, what we need to do right now, and I would love for you guys to take your hands and do like this and close your eyes and bow your head. I want to pray for all the doctors and nurses right now because there's a lot of people who are sick, right? With the coronavirus, people that are not being able to see their family because they're not feeling well. So we want to pray for all the doctors and nurses. We're praying for people who are sick, but we're praying for the people who have to help them try to get unsick. And those are the doctors and nurses. They have so much work to do, so much pressure. So we want to pray that they feel better and don't get overwhelmed. Dear God, right now we are praying for the nurses and doctors, and we're praying that they would have enough rest, that they would not be scared or fearful, and that you would protect them as they are helping to help other people who are less fortunate and aren't feeling well and struggling with the coronavirus. We thank you for protecting them. In your name we pray. Amen. Guys, I encourage you to say a prayer every day this week and to pray for somebody like the doctors and the nurses, okay? I encourage you to do that. I know God will be pleased. I will be happy. And I know your parents will be happy too. All right? So let's get ready. Let's turn the page, all right? All right. So looking at this, we're going to look at each picture. And it says, I can do many things to help my body stay well. Excuse me. These are some notes that nurses have given all over the world. And then just some things that you guys can really have an idea about. Okay? So it says, I wear warm clothing when the weather is cold. So guess what? It doesn't get too cold here in California, but remember in the wintertime when it was raining a lot, we had to wear our jackets, we had to wear our hoodies out on the playground when it was not as sunny, right? So in order to help you not get sick, when it's cold outside, you put on more clothing. You cover your head so it doesn't get exposed to cold air, and that way you won't get sick. So that's something that it says circle. We don't have to circle. We're just going to acknowledge that is one that you guys should be doing when it gets cold. But now it's summertime or springtime, so the weather's going to get warmer. All right, over there it says, I take a bath or shower to keep my body clean. Who takes a bath or shower? I should see everybody's hands. Everybody raise your hand. You all should take a bath or a shower. And sometimes you could take 2 in a day. If you go outside and play and get dirty, you don't want to sleep around with that dirt on you. So you wash that off and take care of yourself. That's a good way to stay healthy. Number 3, it says, I wash my hands with soap and water before I eat. Oh man, you should wash your hands all the time. Should you just wash them before you eat? No, you should wash your hands all the time, all right? There's no excuse. There's nothing wrong with washing your hands, especially now when they're saying with the coronavirus, you guys want to make sure you're protecting yourself. So if you touch anything outside, do anything, make sure you're washing your hands and taking care of yourself. And then at the bottom, the next one, it says, I eat and drink whatever I want, whenever I want. So that means I can have cookies. That means I have crackers and candy and do it. I can do it at 1 p.m. I can do it at 2 in the morning. No, 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 no. That is not acceptable. That is not right. And that's not healthy. That's not treating your body good. So you want to do things that are going to make your body feel good, not that. All right. Now look at this. I want you guys to listen to this carefully. All right. I'm going to give you some information. Everybody say information. Information. All right. Here we go. Many illnesses, that means many people who get sick, many diseases, many illnesses are caused by tiny germs which get into the body. By keeping your body clean and by washing your hands well before you eat, you can protect your body from many germs. So you can protect your body from many what? Many germs. That means you have to take care of your body by washing your hands. That means if you sneeze like we do in class, you have to get a tissue immediately because you know what time it is, and then you get sanitizer and you clean your hands. That means when you're outside playing in the dirt, playing in the ground, even riding a bike, riding a scooter, jumping on a trampoline, whatever you're doing, if you're outside, you make sure you wash your hands. You take care of your body because germs can come from everywhere. All right. It is better to eat regular meals than to get a snack whenever you feel hungry. Why should you eat at special times? Well, guess what, guys? We talked about this a little bit, but food gives your body the energy you need to work or play. And you normally normally feed yourself by eating 3 times a day. What are those 3 times? The morning, breakfast, the afternoon, lunch, and at nighttime, dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Be sure you eat foods that are good for your body and drink plenty of water and plenty of milk. You know, Mr. Hunter, I always have my water here. It's good for my voice, good for my throat, but it's also just good for my body. Helps to keep my skin clean and make sure I'm feeling good for the rest of the day. The number one thing that people do not do. Everybody say the number one thing. I didn't hear you guys. You didn't say it. Sam, Jeremiah, Eliana, Dylan, I need you to say it. The number one thing that people don't do well is sleep. We're not sitting still and we're going to sleep. So you got to rest, but then you got to go to bed on time. You got to get plenty of rest. All right. It is important to rest after you work or play hard. Rest helps your muscles and bones get strong. Rest also gives your bones a chance to grow. You guys are young, so you want your bones to grow. You want them to grow, not just grow. You want them to grow strongly. All right. Be sure you get enough rest, sleep each night. I have to be honest with you, Mr. Hunter, I didn't go to sleep as early as I should have. But guess what? Tonight, I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to sleep very well. All right. Now, if a doctor prescribes medicine to you, like a nurse and doctor gives you medicine, here's what you can do. You can go home. You can take the medicine. You can take it with the instructions that they give you. Because if a doctor gives you medicine, what do they expect? They expect that you're going to take it. If you go back to the doctor 3 weeks later and say, I'm still not feeling well, and the doctor says, well, what happened to the medicine? And you say, I didn't take it. What do you think the doctor's going to say? Doctor going to be happy with you? No, doctor's not going to be happy. He's going to be upset. All right. And same way for the nurse. So they want you to take the medicine, but only take as much as you say. Don't take more than they say. Don't take too much. All right. And if you take too much medicine, you may get sick again if you take too much. So don't follow the instructions. Everybody say, follow the instructions. All right. So here's the last one. Let's look at page 31. It says, I drink plenty of water and milk. Does that help your body? Will a nurse be happy if they hear you tell them that? Yes, they would. All right. I eat good foods that help my body grow strong. I think the nurse would be happy with that. I go to bed at a proper time so I will not feel tired in the morning. That feels good. Does that look like Sam? Is that Sam? No. If I get sick, I take the medicine the doctor tells my parents to give me. Sam's got a big smile on his face right now because he knows I'm talking about it. All right. And let's look over here. I stay up late whenever I want to play longer or watch TV. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go to sleep on time so you get plenty of rest. And then at the bottom, I get shots that protect me from diseases. So sometimes you may have to get a shot, like a whatever type shot by the doctor, and they'll put it in there so you don't get any sickness, you feel better, and it protects you before something happens, okay? Listen to these two poems. I have two poems I want to read to you before I let you guys go today, as we've talked about nurses, all right? This is called The Missionary Nurse. Everybody say the missionary nurse. A missionary nurse is somebody that doesn't live here. They travel to other countries, remember? They travel to other countries to help other people who are less fortunate. With a smile on her face, everybody smile, and a bag in her hand, she boarded a plane and flew to a far-off foreign land. She wanted to help the sick people, help them to get well. But even more important, she had a story to tell. Medicine may fix sick bodies and make them well again, but only Jesus' love can fix the hearts of men. So she said medicine and other things may fix the bodies, but what is the only thing that can fix the heart? Jesus. He's the only one that can change the heart. All right, one more poem. It's a short one. When you are sick, that's what it's called. When you are sick, when you are feeling very sick, the nurse who's oh so dear is like your very own mother. How her love can cheer. That's a sweet one. That's a nice one. Guys, I want you to try something. I want you to try to write your own poem. I want you to try to write your own poem about a nurse. Or just write your own poem about doing things right, all right? Write your own poem about a nurse. It can be any way you want, okay? It doesn't have to rhyme. I want it to come straight from you, from your heart, and try it out, all right? I love you guys. I can't wait to hear about your poems on Wednesday. I'm gonna ask you how they went. All right, see you then.